Ashamed? I'm ashamed of myself to be here talking to you right now.
No, I don't feel ashamed at all.
Well, you should be, because you're trespassing me for conducting a First Amendment activity.
What's your name and badge number?
Right there.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
Well, the
you want me to
cameras
take
are
a
running.
shot at it?
Go ahead.
How do you pronounce it?
Belanger.
Belanger. Okay, and what's your badge number?
405.
405.
What's your name, sir?
None of your business.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Can I get your name, officer?
No.
No. That's your policy to identify, officer. What's your name and badge number? You made contact with me. What's your name and badge number, officer? Okay, guys, you see what we're dealing with Madison Township Police. They refuse to identify.
Welcome back to Justice Bird, where we curate, highlight, and summarize with a few educational tips to help ensure your rights aren't violated in your next encounter with the cops. So make sure to subscribe to all the channels featured in today's roundup, including mine. Everyone's channel links will be pinned in the description. Keep watching.
What's going on, officer?
Sir, I'm Martina. I'm the director of the office. I'm the one who called 911 to have this gentleman removed from our premises. He came in, he was filming. I told him that we are a state agency, that we have a confidentiality clause. We don't want our clients filmed in the office because we try to provide them with that confidentiality. People filming, he said he was not only filming, he was recording as well. And the staff got really uncomfortable, so many of them went back. And I called you in order to have them escorted out. That's why you're here.
How's it going, officer? So none of what she said is a lie. I went into a public place. I exercised my First Amendment right to film in a public place in a building that's publicly funded because there's no expectation of privacy in a public way. They did let me know that they didn't want to be filmed, that it was against the law to do so, and I let them know that it is a constitutionally protected activity. I appreciate her.
On the street, you're okay. I don't know about inside of a...
Yeah, I've filmed Malden PD and the Secret Service. It's a constitutionally protected activity. The real issue that we have today, sir, is that this gentleman right within here, and I'll be happy to provide you with that camera footage, this gentleman here, he grabbed my camera and then assaulted and battered me.
You want to make a report?
Yes, I would like to do that.
Give you ID?
You know what? I actually don't have it on me, but I'll be happy to give my information for the purposes of this police report. But yeah, I did, you probably know me, Auditing America, Accountability for All. We've done the Malden PD,
I don't know you.
the Secret Service. It's a constitutionally protected activity to be able to film inside of a publicly funded area. If I went into your house, that'd be covered under the Surveilling Act. But if it's a public area, there's no expectation of privacy.
But like you can record me because I'm a police officer.
Yeah, and I can record her because she's paid by the state.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to be dual consent in Massachusetts.
No, the wiretap law was repealed. So, I mean, this is going to be good, though, because you're going to learn, too. What's going on, man?
Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you.
How are you today?
Hi, my name's Kevin. Nice to meet you.
Kevin, pleasure to meet you. I've been in your station before.
Yeah. No, thanks for coming by. You're welcome
I
anytime.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
This officer's taking a report. Nothing this woman has said is untrue. I went into a public area filming on a public access.
Yeah.
She said she didn't want to be filmed and she didn't give her consent to do so.
Okay.
I politely let her know that it's my constitutionally protected activity to film what I can see in a public way. Public ways count as publicly funded areas. And the main concern with that it turned into, because you know what I do, it turned in from something where it became a First Amendment audit to where this gentleman on film, and I'll provide the footage, grabbed my phone, and after he grabbed my phone, this gentleman here, after he grabbed my phone, I let him know that if he continued
What we would obviously do is be willing to take
a report,
your side of the story.
Yep.
And we would solicit any information that would clarify what went on.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, as you know, we're just here to make sure that everybody's rights are protected, which is right now. All right, Josh, so...
How you doing, Chief?
Clearly inside there are signs posted that prohibit the use of cell phones.
Right, but policy doesn't trump law. They can have a sign saying in Malden it's legal to kick a baby.
I will tell you that there's a good reason why they're doing this.
For people's privacy, but for privacy has to be created, and it can't be created
no, because I would say with some good facts behind it that the people that come to this particular state agency, come with a variety of personal stories and reasons why they're here that do entitle them to be able to be unfettered by any
First of all,
concerns.
we're not here to film them. So when my video releases, which it will, there's not going to be anyone besides government employees that are on film. But
Right, but
I
you know,
can
there's
film in a
always
public-
that inadvertence.
Can you cite the federal law or mass state law that says for some privacy exemption under the statute that doesn't allow me to film in there?
Well, I can tell you that they do have a sign that is clearly posted.
A sign.
They are not arbitrarily telling you that you can't do it.
Right.
They would do
But
it
the
to
sign
everyone.
says no cell phone use. I'm operating a camera,
But
freedom
it
of the
is- it
press.
is your
And
cell
secondly, it's a sign. So let me ask you a question. If I posted a sign that says in Malden PD it's okay to kick a dog, because the law says otherwise, but because I posted a sign, does that make it legal? This is just a friendly debate.
No,
it doesn't.
I know.
The sign is a request. It
Right.
does not trump my rights and my law, and the sign really does mean nothing to me at the end of the day because it is only
Well,
a sign.
I would say that the sign is put up. The prohibition on filming is based upon the environment that they are seeking to provide to good people who are coming here.
Right, and that's a request.
And these people that are coming here.
That's a request. That's why I'm not in there filming
Are
them.
not part of your exploration of the First
I mean,
Amendment's
if I choose to
availability.
be, they are, but I'm not here for them anyways. There's no
Right.
one inside. Every time someone comes in, the camera goes down. There's no patron in there.
Right,
that's
but
on
I
this
think
video.
that they have to have a policy.
Then they need to create it, chief.
They have to have a policy.
Then they need
that-
to institute it as
provides-
law, or at least a city
Right,
ordinance.
and one of the things that I have asked them to do is maybe seek some opinion or guidance that's more clarified through their legal counsel.
I can let them know. If you guys want to go to Richard Tesai, he's the person you want to talk to, because when we need city ordinances changed or unconstitutional policies removed, we go to him, because there's a library in Rhode Island, in not a Department of Transitional Assistance. It's like their version of it.
Yeah.
They had the same sign.
Yeah.
And they had the same sign at MCI Cedar Junction.
Right.
And we went right back in and we filmed, because the policy doesn't trump law. So you need to
Right.
institute that
But
as well.
I would say, just on a pure human analysis of this, you're in an office right now environment where people have come here with a particular sensitivity to their life experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not standing right now in, say, the registry of motor vehicles.
So you would
or
agree
something
that
like
this is a request out of human decency. This is not anything instituted
no,
as law.
I can see some validity of purpose in the policy that they have posted.
Right.
I can see that.
I listen, and that's why I'm not.
No, and I think you can.
And that's
too.
why I'm not filming other people. But here's the thing: if they have, I went to Lawrence PD, and they had people's social security cards and credit cards, and I stuck my phone right up to the glass.
Right.
And the point I'm making is, you're assisting in identity theft. If you want privacy, you need to create it, tidy up the area.
Right.
So that's not my problem. That's their problem. At the end of the day, I'm a human being. I'm not here to film anyone inside, but I'm here to do this: catch public employees that violate people's rights or that do a great
Right.
job. I pull out my camera,
Right.
they show who they are. So I plan on going back inside. Unless
I
I'm being trespassed, and I haven't been provided a trespass yet.
Well, I mean, do you have any particular business with this agency right now?
Yes, at this point, my rights are violated. So at this point, I'm practicing my constitutional rights inside of a government, either state or federal facility, which conducts as business under the Articles of the Constitution.
Yeah, but
I'm going to go in, film for 2 seconds.
No, I'm not going to let you do that.
So I'm being trespassed.
No, I'm not telling you. I'm telling you what you can't do when you're in there.
Okay, so it's not, you can't legally uphold a no filming sign.
No, I can. I believe that the people.
Because I'm willing to go to jail for this.
Well, I admire people's willingness to stand up for something, but I
Because
believe.
I already
believe-
arrested an IRS agent. I already got 2 officers suspended,
Right.
and I'm willing. And listen, charges get dropped real
Right.
fast because there's no
No,
law
and-
that says
and
I can't do that.
The thing that, I mean, seems be disconnected to what you're doing here is you sound very passionate and well-intentioned about what you're doing.
Yeah, because this is wrong, and you're not a policy officer. You're a police officer.
But what you're not doing is affording the good people who come here to do a job.
Their feelings don't trump my rights,
Well-
Chief. Here's what's going to happen. You won't be able to charge me with disorderly conduct because I'm not being disorderly.
Right.
That's right. So the only thing that you could charge me with is criminal trespass. But I've not been given a trespass notice. So you wouldn't be able to charge me with
Well,
that.
I mean, that can be accomplished.
Well, let's
Now,
get that accomplished.
Are you saying that it is your,
This is great.
as the person in control of the building, that based upon these facts and circumstances, that his presence, unless he has some business with your office,
correct.
he's not allowed on the property?
That would be correct.
Okay.
All right, so I need you're considering this a legal notification of criminal
I
trespass.
am telling you that this person here is in control of the building.
So is this a trespass notice?
Yes.
Okay, unless
But
I have
can
business.
I can have my legal department provide you with one in
Yeah, so I think I need to be provided one before it can be
we work on
enforced.
that. No, actually, no. She has verbalized
Okay, well, you're accepting that as a lawful command.
Yeah.
Unless I have business. Because I need to get an application for transitional assistance today and the business cards of everyone here. So I would consider that Department of Transitional Assistance
We
business.
can certainly give you an application, but we will not provide you with.
Well, you just said, oh, you won't. Well, that's fine. Well, you have to. What's your name?
My name is Martine Caesar.
Martine, thank you. So now that you've said that I can't come in because I'm filming, right? Okay, so we're violating my civil rights. Got that. But if I have business, I can go inside. So I'm going to go inside, and I'm going to get an application for transitional assistance, and I'd like the number
you
for your...
can get him the application.
Well, if I'm only being trespassed for...
No,
unless I have business, that's business.
They'll get you the application.
Well, that's business now.
No, but you stated that was your intent, was to get an application.
Right, so but...
We're going to get you the application.
Right, but I can go in there and get it myself. I'm being trespassed if I don't have business. Now I have business. Right? Filming was my business anyways, but now I'm making this my business.
And they're going to get you the application?
Well, I can go inside and get it myself.
But you don't have
I mean, it's got. Listen, this is uploading live.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is real time.
Right.
So if you arrest me, that's
I
the
live in
camera
real
footage is not gonna. It's not gonna get parlayed. But if I can do this to the Secret Service, I can do it there. So you're telling me, under threat of arrest, if I go under there, it's under the threat of arrest.
I don't believe you've been threatened at all. That's why I'm glad that you are memorializing.
Right, but if I go in there,
nobody threatened you.
so what happens if I go in there to get this application?
Well, right now, the person in charge of the building has told you that you are trespassing.
Unless I have business, which I've now stated I have business.
And you told me what the business was.
Right, so what happens if I go in there to get...
facilitating your ability to conduct that
So
business.
if I go in there, all intents and purposes, if I go in there right now to get this application, what happens?
Well, I would hope that you wouldn't...
well, I'm going to, so I'm asking you what's going to happen when I do.
I'm telling you clearly that the person in charge of the property has said...
Okay, so if I go in there, you're going to arrest me. Because I'm happy to take this that extra step.
Well, I don't know why that you would do that. Now you have obtained the information that you want.
So what's happening with the guy that's assaulting people in there?
Well, we're taking a report from you.
Okay, so that's going to be charges for assault and battery, dangerous weapon?
Well, the officer here is writing a report.
Excuse me, not dangerous weapon, assault and battery.
Is your...
and assault, and we'll call it intimidation of a witness.
Well, we would analyze the...
Assault and battery, dangerous weapon is a felony, right?
Right.
Okay, so he put his hands on me, he assaulted me, and he battered me.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Where's the dangerous weapon?
How is his hand's not dangerous?
Oh, you know, come on.
I can be charged with assault and battery, dangerous weapon, and my hands can be considered a dangerous weapon.
No.
Yes, they can.
No.
Would you like me to pull statute and case law on that?
Go ahead. Please, do that.
Pull up assault and battery, dangerous weapons. Assault and battery, dangerous weapon, hand considered weapon.
Of course it is.
Yeah, I know this. I don't know that he hasn't had specialized defense training.
That's a myth, what you just said.
Well, we're going to find out. So, just to make the point...
Oh, Josh, just give me one. This is unrelated, but I got to take a call.
So, did you learn a valuable lesson today that I can film inside a public place?
Did you learn a valuable lesson by talking to the chief, would be my question to you.
That you're a tyrant, and you like to violate people's rights and their constitutional rights.
I'm not a tyrant. I'm actually
you are,
a really nice
You know what? If
person.
you came in and I didn't let you in because your skin color, would you have a problem with that?
I'm not going to answer that. At
Of
this
course
point,
you're
I
not.
think the conversation is really moot.
The conversation is really moot
And
because
I think
guess what?
he made the point that he needed
Guess
to
what?
make with you, so I'm all done.
You know what the point is? The point is I can go in there and film. The only reason I'm not filming is because you're criminally trespassing me for conducting a constitutionally
This
protected
conversation
activity.
is over,
No,
sir.
it's over when
Thank
I say it's
you.
over because you
No,
work for me. I don't work
it's
for you.
over because
now,
I say
sorry.
it's over
No,
and
it's
I will
not.
not
Because you don't
continue.
control anything. You're a public employee.
Sorry,
and the
Joshua.
internet's
I'm so sorry.
love you.
Yes, I'm
love
sure
you.
they will.
You know
They
why?
will.
Because you're a tyrant.
Oh,
you're a
thank you.
tyrant.
Thank you
I don't
very
ever
much.
want to hear any report where you're upset that someone violated your rights when you're out being a tyrant.
Feet, teeth can all be considered dangerous weapons.
Hey, Chief. Hands, feet, elbow can all be considered dangerous weapons. Would you like to take a look at that? Can we admit that we're wrong?
the Massachusetts statute?
Mass state law, brother. It's case law. It is. You need to update yourself.
I would argue that you're reading the wrong law.
You can argue all you want, but that's case law.
I can. That's
That's
why
case
I have
law.
that First Amendment right.
You do, right? But you know what they don't have the right to do?
What?
Is to tell me I can't go into a place. Here's what I'm
No,
going to do.
They did.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in anyways.
No,
and you
that-
can arrest
no,
me.
Okay,
You can
if
arrest
that's
me.
what you want, Judge. So, if Pam, you're in charge of the building,
Yes, I am.
you've told him he cannot come in.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so if you go in, you would be considered a trespasser.
All right. You know I'm winning that case all day. So I'm going to put my stuff back in my car and I'm going to go in.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Hold on, Judge. Getting your notice there, bud.
So what's up with the criminal? What are we doing with him?
No, we're taking the information in a report.
And the reason I'm being trespassed is because I was filming inside, right? Just want to make sure we got that. Yes, right?
Well, she is
Okay,
the
cool.
building.
Cool.
Thank you very
Cool. I'm being trespassed from a public place because I conducted a constitutionally protected activity. Your job is going to be mine. Your grandkids are going to be hungry because they're going to be feeding me. Listen, you came with the right intentions, but you did the wrong thing. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I'm not ashamed.
You ought to be ashamed of myself.
No,
I'm ashamed of myself to be here talking to you right
No,
now.
I don't feel ashamed at all.
Well, you should be, because
I
I'm being.
don't.
You're trespassing
But I
me
don't.
for
And you
conducting
know,
a First Amendment activity.
You can't impose shame on me.
It doesn't matter. It
No,
doesn't
you
matter
want
what
to,
you
but
think.
you-
I have.
No, but
People are going to make their
you
own
said I
decisions.
should be
Let me ask you,
ashamed, but I'm
you
not.
should pull a couple officers off the road, because people should not call the Malden Police Department and let them know. You're trespassing me for conducting a
didn't
constitutionally
trespass you.
protected
I
activity.
didn't trespass
You're
you.
allowing it. You're allowing it. You're
I'm
enforcing. You're not a
allowing-
policy officer.
I'm
Take off the
allowing-
badge.
I'm allowing the person.
Take
who
off the
has
badge.
authority.
Take off the badge.
What?
Because you're going to wear this badge. Protect you. Like you did you not honor an oath?
I took an oath. Yes.
You took an oath?
Yeah.
All right, I hope you know the answers to the next following questions. What's the First Amendment?
First Amendment is the one that deals with the freedom of speech, freedom of press, a variety of things.
A variety of things. So, I mean, I don't think the Founding Fathers wrote a variety of things. Second Amendment, I know you know that one, even though you're not wearing. Are you wearing one? You are.
Right.
So I know you know the Second Amendment. What's that?
Well, I'm not really going to be here to have a.
Well, you want to have a
Question and answer
here, but here's
with
the
you.
thing. Now you don't want to have a question of an answer
No,
because I don't
because,
think
you
you know
know-
the answer.
Well,
so what's
no,
the?
I do know the answer,
Okay,
but
so
I
let's-
don't see the purpose
let's
in
skip
having the
because
conversation.
your job
my
is to
only
uphold the
reason for coming
Constitution.
here was to have a conversation with you.
So
meet
let's
you in
continue the
person,
conversation, right?
Which is started
Which
out
is the
very
Third
nice.
Amendment.
I don't understand what I'm
Because you're
detecting to
assisting
be
her in violating
a
my
level
rights.
Of agitation.
Yeah, because you're
Right.
violating my rights.
I
Right? If I
haven't
violated your rights, you have a
violated
problem. So
your rights
how about
at all.
this? We'll skip the Second Amendment because I know you know it's a right to keep and bear arms. What's the Third Amendment?
Sure, I'm not really. I didn't.
You don't know the Third Amendment. Fourth Amendment.
No, I might surprise you by that.
All right, so Third Amendment. Surprise me.
Yeah, you can go.
Surprise me. What is it?
It doesn't have any merit for me to have this conversation.
It doesn't. What do you mean it has no merit? It's your job to uphold the amendments to the
No, it's
Constitution.
not my,
I have a copy in my car. Do you want
It's
it?
not my job.
To house
to
soldiers in
stand
a
here
time of
and-
peace
and-
or war,
and-
right?
and answer
Fourth
questions.
Amendment. Violation of search, illegal search and seizure.
Right.
The right to be secure in your person, your papers, and your effects. Fifth
Right.
Amendment.
Right.
Sixth
Keep
Amendment.
going, You're good.
Which ones do you know? Which one? Well, how about you just point out one that I haven't
Right.
mentioned that you know?
Right. No, see the.
Do you have anything illegal in your car I should know about?
The problem you got here is you seem to be intending.
'Cause you're a
try
tyrant.
to aggravate
You started
me,
all right, and
not.
you're a tyrant. No, I'm
You're
not
not.
here to aggravate. You'll react however
No,
you
but that's
react.
what you're trying because
Do you have
you're
anything-
the one that seems to be annoyed.
Do you have anything in your car I should know about?
I don't know.
Anything illegal on you? Do you mind if I search you?
You can't do that
Why can't I search you?
because you can't.
Well, I'm gonna just violate your rights. That's what we're doing here, right?
I don't know. You haven't done anything yet.
I haven't done anything, but I'm trespassing. So if I haven't done anything. So what crimes did I commit here today that I'm being trespassed?
I didn't say you committed a crime.
Then why am I being trespassed?
Okay, perfect.
The person in charge of the building is the one.
And what was she
who
upset
told you.
about?
I don't know why.
So
I
so
can't
passing
go
the
into
buck.
her mind.
You can't. Well, she told you. I got it on film.
Yeah.
You want me to quote?
Well, you heard what she said.
I don't want him here anymore because he's filming.
Okay.
So I appreciate it because you're helping her violate my constitutional rights.
I don't see it.
So here's
that
what I'm
way.
going to do.
I don't see it that way.
Well, you guys are going to get a call to come back here, right? Because I have the right to peaceful protest,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to come back here with my lawyer.
Okay.
And, cool, maybe we should give him a call.
I wouldn't.
You know
give him a
Doug
call.
Scarano?
No, but I know Terry
No?
very well.
All right.
Very good lawyer.
Because they're both my attorneys.
Yeah, good guy, good friend of mine. Tell him I said hi.
Well,
Actually,
he might
give
not.
him my card. 'Cause
He
I
might
gave
not be
you
a
my
friend
card.
anymore. I guarantee
No,
you.
he
because-
always will. He's a gentleman. He's a very zealous advocate for his clients. It's one of the things I admire the most about
So
him.
you know that no matter of what your friendship is, he will take this all the way.
Absolutely, as he should. As he should. It's so fundamental to our system that a
You know, you
lawyer
can't uphold the rights that you think are right and then
Well,
turn your head
I'm
to what's
not.
wrong.
I'm very,
Hey, I can-
I'm very, very pleased with the way my day has gone with regard to the level of service that my department has provided, a professional, courteous manner in which
You allowed a public employee to trespass someone from a building for practicing a constitutionally protected activity. Justify it however the hell you want.
No, but you seem to be twisting the narrative.
That's what happened. I filmed.
understand.
She didn't like it. She trespassed me for filming. You're
understand
upholding
that
it.
You're trying to act like this is unscripted, but
How is it
it's not
scripted?
working.
Did we sit down in production before
No,
this?
but it's obvious that you don't want to hear answers that don't support.
I don't want to hear
your-
unconstitutional answers
No.
from tyrants.
All right.
You're a pig, you're a tyrant,
Right.
and you should take off that badge. Because you're
Why?
disgracing your badge, you're disgracing
I
the
don't see
people,
that.
and your family ought to be ashamed of you.
No, I don't
ought to
think
be
so.
ashamed of you.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure you're glad
No.
they repealed prohibition, so
No,
now you can go home and get drunk.
And, you know,
what do you go like? Are you like the Framingham cops? You go
would-
beat your wife?
I wouldn't even take it personal that my parents are deceased. And,
I didn't talk about you.
No,
Listen.
you said that they were ashamed.
Okay,
of
so
me,
everyone's.
so-
Some people's parents are
No,
deceased, some
but
people's
I
are
don't-
not.
I don't-
Maybe they're
I
rolling
don't
over in
even-
their grave
I don't
because
even-
of what you're
I
doing.
don't even take it personal that you would.
I don't care how you take
or
it.
insert
Your
them
feelings
into
don't
this
trump my
conversation.
rights. You're probably glad they repealed prohibition so you can go home and get drunk and beat your dog.
You're a person.
Do you have a
that
dog?
doesn't Care for other people's.
Do you have a
feelings.
dog? I care about other people's rights.
do,
Do you
but
have a
not their
dog?
feelings.
Do you have a dog? Their
Only
feelings
their
don't
rights.
trump my rights. Do you have a
do you
dog?
care about
Do you have a dog?
Do you care
How many times have you beat your dog?
Do you care about?
Do you have a
people's
wife?
Feelings?
No, probably not. She probably divorced you because you beat her.
Oh.
How about you? How many citizens have you beat today? None? So none today. All right, so I guess how many yesterday then?
It didn't work yesterday.
You didn't work yesterday?
See,
All right, so you had a day off from
what
beating
his mistake
people.
is? He believes that this actually works. He doesn't realize.
Oh, there's going to be change because you know what I can
No,
guarantee you?
it's-
I will be walking
it's-
back in
it's
here.
sad that you don't realize.
I will be walking back in here, and you know who's going to rip this up?
Who?
Her supervisor.
All right. So,
Just like Secret Service, just like DEA, just like Homeland Security, just like FBI.
all right.
You think the Department of Transitional Assistance is going to be the one that's going to institute an unconstitutional policy?
Well, you said you were going to talk to.
Let's
Jerry
do this.
Kennedy.
Let's do this. I hope when I leave here,
Yeah.
you pull me over, right? I hope you.
You hope?
I do. I do. I hope you do.
Kind of sad you have these hopes that are probably not going to materialize.
We all have hopes and dreams, and yours fucking.
No, but you have ones that really aren't going to materialize.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they've already materialized.
No, 'cause
we're
you hope
we're
that we pull you
instituting
over.
change.
We hope you hope.
Why would
we
I
pull
think you
over.
wouldn't? You're already violating my rights. Why would I think you wouldn't do it again? I mean, hey, you want why don't I just search myself for you?
I would ask that you develop a different level.
I would ask that you better yourself, because I wasn't
try
rude.
every day. I try every day.
Well, you're fucking failing miserably. Failing.
Well, and
What's
know
your badge
something?
number?
252. Yeah.
252. So if people don't want to call the Malden Police Department to let them know what an awful job you did because they wouldn't want to do that, and I wouldn't instruct them to do that, they'd say that they wouldn't ask for, what's your last name?
Okay.
McKay. All right. And you're chief.
I gave you
You're
my
chief
card.
tyrant.
Yeah, I gave you my.
All right,
card.
you are. All right, cool.
I
That's
gave
gonna
you my
be
card.
that's gonna be the header of this. Yes, I'm
right.
chief tyrant.
Okay.
You're dismissed.
All right.
Dismissed. We can do this all day. I'm gonna wait. You're leaving before I am.
That ain't gonna happen.
I'm here. All right, so we'll wait.
Okay. All right, Judge. So.
Here you go, guys. Chief of police. He came over. He was pretty nice. He talked to us.
I thought I was real nice.
You were.
I was.
He talked to
When
us.
did I stop being nice?
He talked to us. So I did look up that hands, feet, elbows are considered under recent case law to be considered dangerous weapons. I did do some research on my phone while this was going, and assault and battery does not constitute a felony. So the chief was right about that. Assault and battery dangerous weapon would constitute the felony. However, at this point, a trespass has been issued. And the trespass has been issued because I'm filming inside of a public place that's publicly funded.
Hi, ma'am.
So now we're playing standoff because this chief thinks I'm going to leave before he is. He's leaving before I am, and we will practice this until the night turns over. This is great. You don't have any citizens to help. You don't have any crime to fight. You really do, just to prove a point and have an ego. You'll stand here with me toe to toe, right? You know exactly what I mean. You're going to stand here? If there's a crime, you'll take the call, though, right?
Well, I would hope so.
I would hope so, too. So let me ask you questions. How many officers have been fired this year for excessive force?
Well, what I would ask you to do is submit all your...
I could, but I'm asking you.
I would
You're the
rather
chief of
submit
police.
them to me in writing.
You're the chief of police. How many officers have been fired for excessive force? Simple question.
Submit me your questions in writing, and I would be glad to
More than
comply.
5? Less than 5?
I would be glad to comply.
How many cases were dropped because of illegal search and seizure?
Again, that's a secondary question you could submit in writing. I'd be glad
Well, why are
to
you
do
afraid
so.
to answer it?
No fear in my voice.
Then answer the question.
It seems that you require, for some, I don't know whether it's a lack of self-esteem or something on your part.
Yeah?
That you seem to have some desire to intimidate people or make them.
Am I intimidating you?
Not at all.
All right, then don't put words in my mouth.
But you seem to have this
No,
way about you that's.
Oh, yeah, well, you're saying I'm intimidating, but I don't intimidate you.
No, you don't.
Why don't you get your shit together?
It is together.
No, it's all the way apart. Figure yourself out.
All right.
Like I said, you're dismissed, and we can do this all day.
Oh, I'm not.
Paid by the public?
Yeah.
So you're a public employee.
Yes, sir.
I pay taxes.
I don't
So
know-
my
I
taxes
don't know
go
if you do.
my taxes go towards your salary.
I don't know.
So
if
you're
you do.
you're dismissed.
I don't know.
You're
if you do.
dismissed.
No,
You're dismissed.
it doesn't work that way.
Well, it's gonna work that way. So we can do
see,
this.
Again, you have an inflated impression of who you are.
The only thing inflated is your ego, bro.
I don't
To
think
sit
so.
here instead of conducting
And you
business
know,
for the town, you want to stand
I
here to
am
prove a
actually
point.
Quite confident.
Well, he's finally doing the right thing. Now he doesn't answer questions.
And so we've just witnessed a dramatic day unfold in Fort Kent, Maine, where Jason and his son took a stand to exercise their constitutionally protected rights to free speech and to record in public. From a tense standoff with a cannabis shop employee to a sharp exchange with the police, this story wasn't just a test of citizenship, it was a lesson in action. Officer Belanger may have started with suspicion, but through Jason's patience and firm reasoning, paired with Sergeant Albert's professionalism, it all ended in mutual respect. So, what's the takeaway? Your rights only matter if you know them and dare to defend them. Don't let fear or pressure make you surrender what our ancestors fought for. Stand tall, stay calm, and educate those around you, because freedom isn't just a gift, it's a responsibility. Let's continue.
Hey, Mo.
How we doing, boss?
How's it going today?
All right. Same as yesterday.
So what's up with the picture taking?
Huh, you tell me.
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of crimes in town lately and thefts and stuff, and to sit out in front of a cannabis shop and start taking pictures of the big building, what's the purpose behind it?
You think if I'm planning to come rob this cannabis shop, which you're insinuating, I'm going to show up with all this equipment in the middle of broad daylight?
I'm just asking a simple question.
You know what? That's a foolish way to think. I'm not even going to entertain that question.
No?
No.
So what's the purpose of the cameras?
To take pictures and video.
For what purpose?
For whatever purpose I choose. What do you mean? That's a silly question. You just got out of your car without even speaking to me, without even introducing yourself.
We received a call on it already. You guys did the same thing at the post office last week.
Last week? I wasn't here last week.
Or Thursday or Friday or whatever it was.
I wasn't here Thursday or Friday.
So that's why I'm here to ask you a question.
See, now so you're assuming two things. You're assuming I'm going to rob the cannabis store, and you're assuming that I was the guy at the post office last week.
I'm not saying that you're going to do anything. I'm asking you.
What's your name and badge number?
Right there.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
Well, the
You want me to
cameras
just
are
take a
running,
shot at it?
Go ahead.
How do you pronounce it?
Belanger.
Belanger. Okay, and what's your badge number?
405.
405. Now, do you want to start all over again and try to be professional?
I am being professional.
No, you're really not.
I'm asking you a question.
No, you're really not. You just walked up and
what's your
accused me.
name? What's your name, sir?
None of your business.
Really?
Yeah, really. What do you mean? It's a foolish thing to say, my friend.
405 to Port Kent.
I'm walking down the street, okay, visiting your town with my son, and we decided to walk down Main Street, downtown, and get some video of your town, and this is the reception that I get from the police department here? What is the issue with taking video?
You have 400 or 401 to assist me here?
Yeah, you better, what is that, supervisor? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Like I said, all I did is come here to ask you guys a simple question.
All right, well, like I said, you want to start all over again and be professional?
All right.
Maybe
So
not accuse me of
I'm not
committing a
accusing you
crime?
of anything.
Sure, you got out of your car and talked
I
about
asked you a
somebody
question. I
robbing
said,
the cannabis store.
You know, we've had thefts in town, so I've asked you a question. All right. So what's the purpose of the picture taking?
I'm traveling with my son, taking
Okay,
video.
See, that's an honest answer, right?
But it's none of your business. Why would that be your business?
Because if something happens in town, we have records showing, hey, listen, there was somebody doing something over there. I'm not.
So you
assuming that
equate
guys-
somebody taking pictures with a possible crime?
We want to know.
You want to know? That's
simple as that. I'm not.
So
saying
that's
you
all right.
guys.
So let's take it down a notch. Let's de-escalate here a second. Let's talk man to man. Okay.
All right.
So your concern is that I'm out here with this amount of equipment, standing here in broad daylight, taking photographs and video, and I'm planning a robbery.
I'm not assuming that you're planning a robbery. I'm not assuming nothing. I just asked you a question of what you're doing.
Well, I am not planning anything. There's nothing nefarious going on here.
Okay, good.
You haven't seen anything nefarious going on here. There's no hint of anything nefarious.
I just asked you guys what the
Right.
I mean, we don't see people out here with, I don't know how much this equipment's worth, but you don't see it every day. People out here just taking pictures of.
I'm going to stand on this side just because the sun's blasting me in the eye here.
Yeah.
Not really comfortable. But, so what does that mean? Anything unusual? I mean, you don't see people riding down the street on a unicycle in a pink tutu, but if you did, you're going to stop them and ask them what they're doing?
No.
Right.
But you wouldn't assume anything of a person riding. I'm not being racist or biased or anything else in that for that manner.
Well,
I came here to ask you a simple question.
All right. So what I think, just to give you one man's opinion, I think what you should have done is you should have done a drive-by, evaluate with your own eyes what you see is going on, right? Then you come back, you speak to both parties, you do your investigation, you ask your questions, and you find out what's going on.
There was somebody standing in front of the cannabis place,
right,
with cameras taking pictures.
Perfectly legal, constitutionally protected activity.
Not saying that it's not.
Okay.
So, but they were concerned that you guys had cameras outside. So
all right. So let me ask you a fair question: are you here to uphold my constitutional rights, or are you here to uphold their feelings?
I'm here.
What are you here
to make sure that nobody has their rights taken away from them, and that if something happens where the law is broken, that's where my job comes in.
Your job comes in when the law is broken, correct? Has there been any law broken so far?
Listen, I'll have you talk to my sergeant. He can address you better than.
Okay, very good.
I mean, you don't want to answer the question to me?
I'm having the conversation with you. Don't look for issues.
No, all I'm saying is that, listen, I asked you a question, why the cameras were out, and you didn't give me an answer.
Because of the way you got out of your car. Respect is not given out for free, it's earned. So you want to earn somebody's respect, that's what you do. Right? How we doing, Sarge?
What's going on?
Just out on your sidewalk, taking a little video and photographs, and evidently Officer Belanger, is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Has equated that with possibility that we might be up to something nefarious, planning a robbery of the cannabis store.
So basically what happened is a couple people had called. Someone called initially back when you guys were at the post office.
Okay.
And then they called, and then somebody else called.
And just to be clear, post office 15 minutes ago, not last week.
Well,
yeah.
I didn't get the call. I knew it was, you guys had been out there before.
So
okay.
yeah, I guess basically it's not illegal to be recording.
Of course it's not.
So I guess we were just concerned because we didn't know why, and people are calling. So when people call, we kind of have to.
And you know what? The way see, this is what I was trying to tell you, Officer Belanger.
Yep.
The sergeant here, there's a reason he's got those stripes on his arm.
Correct.
You got out of your car, okay?
Yep.
Being very respectful,
Yep.
asking the right questions,
Okay.
in the right tone,
Yep.
and we're having a cordial conversation,
Yeah.
which is a voluntary conversation. I don't even
Yeah.
need to be speaking to you.
No.
I can just tell you I don't have a word to say to you. Go away, leave me alone.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what you would do.
Yeah.
But I'm not being that guy. I'm trying to have it.
And I appreciate
This gentleman get out of the car. First words out of his mouth is, "Well, we don't know if you're planning to some kind of a robbery here at the cannabis store."
My mouth was, "What are you doing on the sidewalk with the camera?"
And I said to you, "I'm taking video and pictures."
Yeah, and I
That's
asked
all you
for
need to know.
For what purpose?
And I said that's none of your business.
That's exactly.
And that is none of his business, correct?
I mean, I'm curious too, but I'm not saying that you need to tell.
Curiosity and your business are two different things, and you're being very professional. So I'm just coming down off of the conversation with him.
And that's fine.
But what I want you to understand is, okay, and the same question I asked Officer Belanger, okay, he has to decide whether he's here to protect my constitutional rights, which is what he swore to do, swore an oath to do, or if he's here to protect people's feelings.
Right.
That's your question. So, and I get people's feelings.
Yeah, and I guess our concern is if we keep getting phone calls, we kind of have to follow up. We can't just say don't worry about it. We kind of have to go.
Well, another option, okay, and I'm not telling you how to do your job, but another option is to drive by, observe with your own eyes what's going on, and if you don't see anything nefarious, you keep going.
Yeah.
In some cases, right? That happens.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. So I mean, like you said, can drive by, but I was coming back from another call. Officer Belanger was already here, so I came directly here.
Okay.
But like I said, we got the call about the post office earlier, and I figured, well, okay, if they're just recording, they're just recording.
Right.
But as we keep getting calls, then we kind of.
Well, I think the cannabis store probably told you a little bit more of a dramatic story.
They may have. I don't even.
I'm
to be honest.
I'm gonna do a public information request for the 911 call, so we'll see what they told you.
I don't even. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't even know if it came in 911. I don't even know how.
Whatever it was, we'll get the phone call. But,
yeah. Okay.
Part of my concern here also is not just upholding my right to take photographs and video.
Yep.
Part of my concern is people calling up the police department and sensationalizing something and having you come in hot or with some idea in your head that there's something going on that may not be, just because they got upset and they want to drama everything up and ramp it up. And then you get here expecting something that's not going on.
Yeah,
so you didn't do that here today, but Officer Belanger might have been on that page a little bit.
So I mean,
all I was asking is the question as to what y'all were doing. I simply asked the question. But what's the reason for the cameras and the pictures?
No, you were getting a little upset.
I was not.
Sure you were. Sure you were.
Well, I mean, if that's what you felt, then you felt that.
what's your first name, so I can be on a first name basis?
You know what? You are being respectful, so I'll give you my friend. And that's the only reason I'm giving it to you. Otherwise, I'd tell you to kick rocks. So my first name's Jason.
Jason. Okay. So Jason.
And you'll figure out who I am. I'm not hiding who I am.
Okay, and that's fine. So Jason, the only thing is, if a business is calling, just out of respect for a business, I guess.
Right.
If you would avoid videoing after, if they've called and they don't want you videotaping, I guess out of respect for the business and their right.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to answer that for you, and you just thought of the answer I'm going to give you. You know what I'm going to say.
Honest, you have the right to do so.
No, not only that. How much are they respecting my right to be out here taking video? And now you want me to respect their right to privacy when they're on Main Street with 5x6 glass windows?
And I get that.
Yep,
I completely get that.
I plan to hang out here and video a little longer after you guys leave.
Okay.
Normally I probably would have been gone already.
Okay.
But they decided to create a situation out of it, and here we are.
Okay. And that's fine.
You guys are allowed to videotape all you want.
Well, you've got a whole brand new attitude now at the sergeant's here.
Like I said, I just came here to
and you'll
ask
see the video,
question.
Sarge.
Yeah. And that's fine.
Well, listen, my camera's running too.
Yeah, but your cameras, that video tends to disappear sometimes. This one doesn't.
So
I'm live streaming to the internet right now.
So that's fine, Jason. I got no issue with this. If you want to record, you have the right to record.
I know that.
Like I said,
and I appreciate you acknowledging that.
Yep.
And I would also appreciate if you would uphold and defend my right to be out here.
And like I said,
not only do I want you to acknowledge the fact that I can do that, I want you to defend that right, because that's an oath you took and you swore to do.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm not telling you can't do it. I'm not telling you have to leave. I'm not doing that.
No. What you should be telling me is you're going to go inside and educate these folks. And I think that you're in a very unique position. Okay? Because I think a lot of the people in this country take what law enforcement as an authority figure says and values that very much. So if you go in there and tell him I'm breaking the law, he's going to be under the impression I'm breaking the law. If you go in there and tell him it's my right, they should leave me alone, I have a perfectly constitutional right, lawful right to be out here doing what I'm doing, they will accept that from you more than they'll accept it from me, because you're the authority.
And I will speak to them.
So you could also, by doing that and taking those steps each day, after a while you might condition everybody to realize that there's nothing to be afraid of when somebody's taking pictures.
Yeah.
Because right now they're conditioned to go into fear mode.
Well, and I think that we're from a smaller area, so we are kind of not necessarily guarded, but we don't normally see cameras out on Main Street, you know what I mean? It's not often that people are out recording on Main Street when there's, nothing going on. So I think people just kind of look at that as, what's the reasoning to it?
Well, all right, and I get that, and I'll give you that, but my question to you then would be, why does everybody's mind go to the negative? Why would you assume? Me personally, if I saw somebody out taking pictures, I would look over at them, see them taking pictures, and carry on my day. I don't even care what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's none of my business. And why would I automatically think there's something nefarious happening?
Right. And like I said, I don't think you're doing anything wrong by videotaping. I don't care. That's fine. I got no problem with it. Okay.
Okay.
It'd be, so as far as the law goes, it'd be different if you were, say, inside the store and recording and they didn't want you to be inside.
Well, that's private property.
Then right.
Of
then
course.
That's a different thing. But you're here on the sidewalk taking video, that's fine. I got no problem with that, okay?
Okay.
So, like I said, I don't have an issue with it. I'll speak with them. I'll explain to them that you guys are in a public setting, that you can record and you can do stuff like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, just avoid, if they come out and they start giving you a hard time, call us so we can at least intervene. And
if you go in there and tell them I'm within my rights and lawfully doing what I'm doing, they're not going to come out and say anything.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they'll agree with my explanation.
Well, if they want to go ahead and start an issue, then they can be conducting themselves disorderly or whatever they want to do.
And
I don't get into that.
Yeah, and I'd rather you call me if that ends up happening, so that way we can just get this all settled.
And I just want you to know, Officer Belanger, I'd like to end it on a good note with you. I like to leave things positive.
Listen, absolutely. Listen,
let me just tell you.
Anytime you're more than welcome to come into our town. Anytime.
Let me just tell you that what my purpose out here. This is my son.
Yeah, you stated that.
Well, I don't know if Sarge heard that. Right, yeah. Sarge didn't know that. Yep. So the purpose of me being out here, is to simply exercise my right to take video and photographs in public.
Well, good.
Okay?
Yep.
Our Constitution's taken a proverbial ass kicking these days, right? And everybody likes to complain about it, but nobody does anything about it.
Right.
So in a very passive way, civil disobedience, whatever you want to call it, I'm out exercising my rights, and it's a shame that people see that as civil disobedience. But a camera's become an evil thing these days for some reason. And I'd like to get rid of that, and I'd also like to run into officers such as yourself. I would appreciate it if you would take the time in your mind to consider this, as I do, a learning experience. Everything that happens in life will make you a better person tomorrow, if you see it that way, right? So maybe you've gotten a couple ideas of how you could have better handled this.
Oh, absolutely.
When you got out of your car.
I got out, and all I wanted to know was, the purpose of your being here. You've already explained it to me now.
But so, what would you have done if I didn't explain it to you? If I just said, I don't want to speak to you?
Well, that's fine. You didn't have to speak to me, right?
Well, it seemed like you were not happy with that answer.
Well, no.
I'll say that.
Because I get a call, as an officer, you come here, you say, well, what's the purpose of being out here?
Well, I would, like I was saying to the Sarge, I've been in a lot of situations where people will call up literally. I have a camera, people will call up the police department and say he's threatening people, he's got a gun, he's doing this, he's doing that. Totally not true. Complete BS,
Yes.
made up, fabricated. And then you're driving here 90 miles an hour. Do you know what the leading cause of police officer deaths are in this country?
Well, suicides are number one, but then
No, traffic accidents are number one. Suicides might be a close number two, which that's a whole nother conversation.
But yeah, anyway, that's
So
a whole
I don't
different
need you
beast.
guys coming in hot, code 3, when there's no reason for
And
it.
I don't know if you know, I didn't have lights and sirens. I didn't have anything.
No, not here today, but that happens.
Yeah, oh,
because
yeah,
people,
yeah, yeah.
so you have to, you know as well as I do, people love to exaggerate.
Right.
People call up the police and they'll tell you all kinds of tales, and then you get here and none of that's going on.
And I'm not going to argue
So
that. because
all I'm saying is the next time you come across a guy with a camera or exercising any other of their constitutional rights, being completely lawful, don't come in hot on them, man.
No.
Just get here and try to uphold the most important thing, even above enforcing the laws of the land, is to honor your oath to our Constitution.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the law of the land. That's number one.
Yep.
And that's all it's about. And any law that exists that's contrary to the Constitution is unconstitutional. And it just needs to go through a little process of law for it to be deemed that, and then that'll be the case one day. But stick to the Constitution, stick to your oath, you swore to it. Are either one of you in the military?
I was not, no.
No, were you?
Myself either, no.
I only asked because I was going to say then you swore 2 oaths.
Right, yeah.
Right.
right.
So,
But yeah, no, like Jason, like I said, I don't care if you want to record, that's fine. If that's all you're doing is just recording, I got no issues with that.
okay. But I also, beyond that, I hope this is a learning moment
Yeah, and
for all of us.
And like I said, me coming here, I didn't really know what was going on. To be honest, I was on another call.
Right.
So I basically came here just to help Officer Belanger, but knowing what's going on, you're not doing anything wrong.
Right.
I got no issues with
Well, like I said, I just hope that, everything, there's always opportunity is everywhere in this world for an
Yep.
education.
Yep.
And I'm out with my son. I'm not looking to educate people exclusively. I'm looking to educate myself, educate my son. We can all learn something from everything that
Oh, yeah,
happens.
absolutely.
And that's the goal. We're trying to be productive.
Yep.
We're not out here looking to cause trouble. We weren't yelling at anybody. I wasn't sticking my cameras in their windows,
Yeah,
which I could.
Yeah.
I could walk right up to the glass and stick my camera in the window, and if they want to close the blinds, that's up to them. But we didn't do that.
Yeah, and like I said, I appreciate you being cordial about everything and
Sit right back at you.
and understanding.
Yep. Well, that's why you got the conversation out of me, because you showed up giving respect.
Yep.
I said to Officer Belanger, respect is not given away for free.
Right.
You earn it.
Yep.
So you earn my respect, and I give it back to you.
And I appreciate that.
And you've, coming around, you've earned my respect as well. So I have no hard feelings. Seriously.
Listen, I got a job to do. They just called, said, hey, listen, there's somebody out here with cameras.
You know what? There's a
So
lot of cops. The conversation you and I had, there's a lot of cops that would just pull their handcuffs out.
Yeah, no,
So I never know just like you never know who you're dealing with when
Yeah.
you show up, I don't know who I'm dealing with either.
Right.
You guys got a lot of hotheads. There's a lot of good policing in this country.
Oh, yeah.
And we support good policing.
Yep.
But then there's also a lot of not so much.
Yeah.
And we love finding those guys and exposing them,
Yep.
but we also like celebrating the successes.
Yep.
So
and I appreciate that. And like I said, here in Fort Kent, we do have a good group of officers, and Chief is great. So, I think we're pretty fortunate here. I mean, unfortunately, there are some elsewhere that give a bad name to.
well, nobody will ever say there's any in their department.
What's that?
You know what your worst enemy is?
What's that?
I always ask police officers when I speak to them, do you know what your worst enemy is?
No.
A bad cop.
Oh, well, yeah.
Bad cops are out getting good cops hurt and killed and in bad situations and arrested and
Yep.
lawsuits
Oh, absolutely.
all over the country.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
if you see another cop doing something they're not supposed to be doing,
Yeah, you gotta speak
I
up.
don't want you to ruin anybody's life. Take them in the locker room,
Yep.
have a conversation,
Yep.
and put an end to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It definitely is something that
You know,
needs to be
because, you
addressed.
know, just because there are good cops and bad cops,
Yeah.
if a bad cop does something wrong and the good cop just stands by watching that, he's now joined the member of the bad club crew.
Yeah.
And we don't want to see that happen.
Yeah, see something, say something.
We want the little kids in this country to respect you guys
Yep,
and
yeah,
look up to
absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And right now, that's kind of on the fence. And we want to try to, what I'm doing here today also is giving you an opportunity to shine, man. And you've taken that.
Well, I
and
appreciate
so
that.
have you at the end of the day. So I know, I really do. I like leaving things on a positive note.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I appreciate it.
Yep, and I appreciate you guys as well.
It was nice meeting
And
you guys.
actually,
I'm
like
gonna
I
go
said,
follow up
you know,
with them.
It may have started a little steamy, but it ended good. So that's it.
All's well that ends well, like they say, right? That's it. No, and really, you never know. And you know how many times I say to people, this could seem like a very benign conversation that's went nowhere, waste of time, whatever. 6 months, a year down the road, this conversation might spur something in your mind that actually might save somebody from something or might help me out down the road. You never know. So it's all valuable.
Right.
And we appreciate that. So what I'm going to do is,
I'm just gonna take the time to go in. I'll
I'll let you guys go in there. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. After you guys leave, we're gonna stick around for a few minutes. I don't want to give them the appearance that I got chased off.
Yeah.
And then we'll take off.
That's fine.
That's it.
And I appreciate that. And again, I appreciate the cordial respect.
Right back
each
at you,
other.
brother. We
So I
appreciate you too.
that.
All right.
It was nice
All
meeting
right, guys.
both of you.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Don't buy anything while you're in there. And now all they did was make a spectacle out of their business. We literally, guys, when we do these downtown things, we walk by, we might hang out in front of a business for 2 minutes and then keep walking.
Alright, so I explained it to him and stuff, and he understands you guys are just videotaping stuff.
Okay.
He said his biggest concern was that they do have medical marijuana users that like their, I guess basically like it to be private because it is a medical thing.
Right.
Which I guess I get that point in a way.
Okay.
Like I said, I have no issues you recording sidewalk and all that stuff, but as far as like sticking your cameras in, as far as for the rights of the people with medical marijuana,
right.
I guess if we can just respect their rights.
Well, that you're asking me to do it.
Yeah, and
let me explain to you how that works.
Yeah.
Okay. So, being that it's a medical facility, okay, they may have some HIPAA guidelines that they have to deal with.
Right.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I'm going with that.
Now, the way HIPAA works is the only people that are bound by HIPAA rules and regulations are people that are trained and certified in HIPAA.
Okay.
Okay, that doesn't apply to me.
Okay.
So what the HIPAA rules and regulations state is that they are obligated to maintain the privacy of their patients.
Yeah, right.
I'm not.
Right, and I
if
guess
if they took somebody's private medical information and put it on the window, I could stand there and film it all day.
Right.
So just to come back at you with the theory of they're looking for privacy for their patients.
Right.
Like I said before, 5 foot by 6 foot glass windows on Main Street.
And
there is no privacy.
And I get that. I guess that was his reason for calling is, you know, I'm just kind of looking out for my.
Well, they could put blinds on the windows.
Yeah, and I
And did you know
that.
in other states, it's maybe not, I guess not in Maine, but in other states,
supposed to, yeah.
you, like in Colorado,
Yep.
it's unlawful for anybody to be able to see into the dispensary from the sidewalk.
Right. Yeah. Yep. And I'd have to check on that because I'm not 100% sure if that's that way in Maine, but
he might have called the police on himself here today.
I almost think that it might be part of that, but I'll have to check into that part. But like I said,
and I just want to show, so my viewers can see too as well. If I want to do this, right in their window and film everybody inside of that store, if I want to be a nice guy and not do that because they asked me not to, of course I can do that.
Yeah.
But when somebody tells me I'm lawfully not allowed to, you didn't say that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if somebody tells me I'm lawfully allowed to, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Because my whole point in being out here is to exercise my rights.
Yep. And I don't have a problem with you exercising
That's
your
it.
rights at all.
So-
Jason. So I guess I understand his concern. I guess there was just went about it in a bad way. It was a miscommunication, I guess.
Well, yeah, he wasn't being very friendly when he came out and asked me what was going on.
So I guess his point ultimately was that he was concerned about the privacy of the people getting medical marijuana.
Well, but like I said, don't you think it would be smart if that's the case for them to do something about these windows?
Yeah.
It's not about asking people walking down the sidewalk not to look in.
Yeah.
That's
right.
foolish.
Yeah, and I mean,
my eyes and the camera's the same thing.
Right. You're allowed to window shop, and you know.
I could put my hands on the glass and stare in the window. I could put my lens on the glass.
Right.
All day long. It'd stay here as long as they're open all day.
Yep.
And there's nothing they could do about it.
Yeah. And
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. No. I know that, but like I said, I guess that was his reasoning for calling us, is because he didn't want to deter his customers from going in, and the medical customers
Right.
and stuff. So, which I guess I get to an extent, but
Well,
But it could have been done
not
differently.
as a law enforcement. You get that as a human being,
Right.
Not as a law enforcement
Right.
officer. Because, like I said, your decision here, which I think you made the right decision here today, but your decision here is whether or not to uphold his feelings or to uphold my rights.
Right.
So that's a no-brainer.
yeah.
His feelings are what they are, and I think the more, do you have kids?
I don't know.
The more you coddle their feelings, the more sensitive they're going to be.
Right.
Sometimes people just need to be told,
Yeah.
pull your pants up, fly right, and if you want privacy, create it.
Right.
We're in public.
Yep.
There is no expectation of privacy in
Right, and
public.
I don't disagree with that. I'll have to check as far as Maine law goes for the marijuana dispensary.
Oh, well, I'm going to check now, too.
But yeah, so like I said, anyway, I guess that was his reason for calling, but
Okay.
just went about it in a bad way, I guess. But
Definitely did.
Anyway.
And I'm glad there's a reason you got those stripes on your arm, and I appreciate. No, you know what? There's a lot of sergeants out there that aren't that way.
Yep.
And they get their guys in trouble, and they get other people in trouble, and it's all a bunch of hurt that doesn't need to happen.
right,
You
and
know?
I appreciate that. So anyway, like I said, Jason, you guys are all set. It was
All right,
nice
brother.
meeting you guys. So.
Sergeant Albert, we
Yep,
appreciate you.
Take care.
You have a wonderful
All right,
day.
See you guys.
Sergeant
care, guys.
Belanger, you have a good day.
Take
See
care.
you.
Take care. And do me a favor, honor your oath.
I will.
It's very important. This country's in a bad way, and we need you guys to stand up and do the right thing.
I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. See you guys.
Today, we've just embarked on a tense journey in Malden, Massachusetts, where Josh, a steadfast defender of liberty, clashed with the barriers of public employees and even the police chief. From being told to shut off his camera in a taxpayer-funded public building to declaring a citizen's arrest on his assailant, this story is a vivid testament to the power of civic rights. Despite threats of trespass and the stubbornness of authority, Josh stood his ground, asserting that policy doesn't override law and feelings don't trump constitutional rights. The lesson here is crystal clear: your right to free speech and to record in public isn't up for negotiation. Know your rights, defend them with persistence and knowledge, because that's the only way to ensure our voices aren't silenced in a free society. Let's continue.
Hey, do you want to tell me your name? Because I'll be happy to help you out.
Look at this, guys. This guy's obstructing our First Amendment rights here. Sir, you're obstructing my First Amendment rights. Sir, you're obstructing my First Amendment rights on public property.
This is private property, sir.
This is public easement, 33 feet from the center of the road. Okay, every time we try to back up and get some space, these guys want to press me. They want to continue to harass me. These guys, man, you got to be careful around Michigan correction officers, guys. They abuse their inmates every day. Most of them abuse their wives. Try not to abuse your wife when you go home tonight, Johnson. Look at, he's kicking our butt. He's assaulted me. Look at, he doesn't like to be pressed. He gets abusive. He gets assaultive.
Is there something we can do for you today, sir?
No, just leave me be. Leave me be. Let me finish my photography work, and I'll be on my way.
23 to base.
But you're on private property, sir. I mean, if there's somebody you need to talk to, I mean, we can always make an appointment.
No, we'll wait for the police to get here so they can establish what's public and what's private property. You call the police.
Okay.
There's no sense in me going anywhere if you call them. I'll stay and wait for them. Okay, we got PD on scene.
$3 to $700.
How you doing today, officer?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So, you have an application?
We got Madison Township Police.
Do you have any identification or not? So you're on state property being requested to leave.
This is public easement, 33 feet from the center of the road.
Still on state property.
There's, you see these public utilities here? Those are public utilities. I'm on public easement. I have no intention on going on their property. I have not been on their property. I'm on public easement, officer, and you know that. When I'm finished with taking my pictures, I told them I'll be on my way. I have no intention on going on their property. I'm out here gathering content for a story, that's all. Can I get your name, officer?
No.
No. That's your policy to identify, officer. What's your name and badge number? You made contact with me. What's your name and badge number, officer? Okay, guys, you see what we're dealing with Madison Township Police. They refuse to identify. This is not going well, guys. This always ends very badly when they won't identify. That means they have something to hide. What do you have to hide, officer? Name and badge number, officer. What do you have to hide? Okay, guys. You guys saw what kind of tyrants are out here in Adrian, Madison Township, Gus Harrison Correctional Facility.
I'm just curious. You seem to think you know a lot about what goes on in here.
Why don't you tell me about what goes on in here, Deputy Warden Messer?
I know what goes on.
Why don't you tell me about it?
Every day.
Tell me about it.
People are not being beat by staff. People are not being wrong. What is your grievance? You're standing out here. We're out here to ask you what can we do to help you.
Okay, so the officer with no badge, no name. I'll never be able to get that video. I'll never be able to FOIA request it. These guys are corrupt, guys. They definitely have something to hide, starting with the deputy warden, Messer. It always starts at the top, works its way down.
As long as it stands there and law enforcement show up, go ahead and continue. Copy. Continue that.
These guys haven't worked this hard since they beat their last inmate. Sure.
Hey, Sergeant Johnson.
problem.
There you go, guys. The walk of shame. The walk of shame. Got a bad cop here that won't identify. I'll give you one last chance, officer, to identify.
Tale takes us to Madison Township, Michigan, where a fearless photographer faced off against the suspicious silence of police and staff from the Gus Harrison Correctional Facility. Standing on public easement, 33 feet from the road center, undeniably public ground, he was there to snap photos and tell a story. But instead of respect, he met harassment, demands for ID, and even a physical nudge from a prison employee. The police? They refused to give their names or badge numbers, as if hiding something. Through this showdown, the lesson shines through. Your rights to free speech and to document the truth in public are unshakable pillars.
Don't let overricho arrogance deter you. Stand tall, hold your ground, because your rights are the power to change society's hidden corners.
Thank you for watching the video. Share your thoughts about it in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and all the channels listed in the description to show your support and never miss the next episode. Have a good day.